The Middle East is no stranger to dramatic headlines, but some stories carry an intensity that demands closer attention. Recently, one narrative has spread rapidly across regional and international media. The claim that Qatar, in response to reported Israeli strikes, is preparing to unleash a so-called secret weapon, described by some commentators as one of the most feared tools in the world. The story raises more questions than answers. What is this secret weapon? Is it a literal piece of military hardware, a new technology, or something far less visible but potentially far more powerful? And what does this reveal about Qatar's unique place in the complex web of Middle Eastern politics? To answer these questions, we need to unpack the background, explore Qatar's strengths, and examine why perception itself can sometimes become the deadliest weapon of all. Reports of Israeli jets striking a Hamas-linked facility in Doha sent shockwaves across the Gulf. Qatar quickly denied that such an incident had occurred, but the rumors alone created a storm. For Qatar, even the suggestion that its sovereignty had been violated puts pressure on its leadership to demonstrate strength. When a small but wealthy nation faces a challenge from a regional military power like Israel, the response does not necessarily come in the form of airstrikes or rockets. Instead, it comes in the form of leveraged strategic tools that reshape the battlefield without firing a single shot. This is where the notion of a secret weapon begins to take shape. Qatar may be geographically small, but it wields disproportionate influence in global affairs. Two pillars define its strength. 1. Energy dominance. Qatar is one of the world's top exporters of liquefied natural gas, or LNG. It supplies fuel economies across Europe and Asia, giving Doha enormous leverage in global markets. 2. Diplomatic ambition. Qatar positions itself as a mediator in some of the world's most stickable conflicts. From hosting Taliban talks in Afghanistan to engaging with Hamas and even negotiating prisoner exchanges, Doha has built a reputation as a neutral broker. Combined, these factors give Qatar tools of influence that most nations can only dream of. So what exactly is meant by Qatar's secret weapon? The phrase sounds like something out of a military thriller, but in reality, it refers to the non-military tools that can destabilize opponents without traditional combat. Let's break them down. Energy leverage. By adjusting gas exports, delaying shipments, or renegotiating contracts, Qatar can affect the energy security of entire nations. In a world still recovering from energy shocks, this is a powerful form of pressure. It's financial clout. Qatar's sovereign wealth fund, with assets over $450 billion, allows it to influence economies and companies around the world. Investments can be redirected, withdrawn, or used to curry political favor. Cyber capabilities. Qatar has invested heavily in technology, raising speculation that it could use cyber tools to disrupt adversaries' networks or leak damaging information. Media influence. Through its flagship broadcaster Al Jazeera, Qatar can shape narratives across the Middle East and beyond. In times of conflict, controlling the story can be as effective as controlling the battlefield. In short, Qatar's secret weapon is not a missile hidden in the desert. It is the ability to weaponize energy, finance, media, and diplomacy. Unlike some of its neighbors, Qatar does not rely on sheer military strength to protect itself. While it does maintain advanced defense systems and U.S.-supplied aircraft like the F-15QA, it cannot outmatch larger states in a conventional war. Instead, Qatar's power lies in asymmetric influence. It can hit where others least expect it, in global gas markets, in corporate boardrooms, in the media landscape, and in diplomatic corridors. This explains why analysts often describe its tools as more feared than tanks or missiles, because they reach far beyond the battlefield. From Israel's perspective, Qatar has long been a frustrating player. While Israel has built strong ties with the UAE and made cautious progress with Saudi Arabia, Qatar has maintained support for Hamas, providing financial aid and political space for its leaders. For Israel, this makes Qatar both a diplomatic obstacle and a potential threat. If Doha were to deploy its secret weapon, whether through economic pressure or media campaigns, Tel Aviv would have to treat it as a serious challenge, even without a single rocket being launched. The UAE and Saudi Arabia, despite being rivals of Qatar in recent years, share one concern with Doha: the principle of sovereignty. When rumors spread of Israeli jets bombing in Doha, both Riyadh and Abu Dhabi voiced outrage. At the same time, they remain wary of Qatar's influence. If Doha truly decides to wield its secret tools, the fallout could affect not just Israel, but the entire Gulf region. Qatar's neighbors are caught between two instincts: supporting Doha against external attacks, while also monitoring carefully to ensure Qatar does not expand its dominance at their expense. No discussion of Qatar's strategy is complete without mentioning the United States. Washington's largest military base in the Middle East, Al Udeid, is located just outside Doha. This makes Qatar both a crucial ally and a sensitive partner. For the U.S., Qatar's secret weapon is a double-edged sword. On one hand, American officials appreciate Doha's energy role and its ability to mediate in conflicts. On the other, if Qatar uses those tools against U.S. allies or in ways that disrupt global markets, Washington could find itself in a difficult position. This delicate balance explains why the U.S. often responds cautiously when disputes involving Qatar arise. Labeling Qatar's influence as a feared secret weapon may capture attention, but it also carries risks. It creates pressure for Qatar to act aggressively to live up to the narrative, and it may cause adversaries to misinterpret its moves as hostile, even if they are routine. In an already fragile Middle East, miscalculation can be dangerous. A delayed gas shipment, a sharp news report on Al Jazeera, or a sudden financial maneuver could be read as escalation, triggering responses that no one truly intended. So why has this idea of a secret weapon taken hold? The answer lies in symbolism. For Qataris, it reinforces national pride and the belief that their country is not defenseless. For rivals, it creates uncertainty, forcing them to think twice before taking risks. For the international community, it underlines Qatar's reputation as a state that punches far above its weight. The weapon is not a physical device. It is an image, a reputation, a psychological tool as much as a practical one. If tensions escalate further, Qatar may choose to increase its mediation efforts, turning diplomacy into a shield and sword. Use Al Jazeera to amplify narratives that challenge Israeli or Western policies. Quietly adjust LNG supply contracts, signaling economic pressure without open confrontation. Expand its cyber presence, hinting at capabilities without needing to deploy them. Each of these steps would be subtle, but together they would project the power of a state ready to defend itself in unconventional ways. The dramatic claim that Qatar has unleashed the world's most feared secret weapon may never translate into missiles or bombs. But that does not make it less powerful. In fact, the true strength of Qatar lies precisely in the tools you cannot see. Pipelines carrying gas, contracts shifting billions of dollars, television screens shaping public opinion, and diplomatic handshakes opening doors others cannot enter. In today's interconnected world, deadliest weapons are not always the ones that explode. They are the ones that influence, destabilize, and reshape the world silently. So when you hear about Qatar's secret weapon, remember, it may not roar like a jet engine or strike like a missile, but its reach extends into every corner of global politics, and in many ways that makes it the most feared weapon of all.